very good at it. He had a knack for like building relationships with journalists and coming up with good stories and whatever else. And like, if I am completely honest, the biggest lever in getting acquired was we had some really interesting PR that got in the right people's ears at the right time. And it was a big lever in fundraising, and it was a big lever. So yeah, don't undervalue PR, even as a tiny company. And I've lived this lesson dozens and dozens of times over again, being on the board of companies that are early stage and, you know, founders, technical or otherwise, just completely ignore the value of PR. And they suffer for it, you know, a couple of years in. So that was one. Another one is, you know, bringing people over from Australia can be a very, very smart thing to do in the early stages of a company's life, because you can bring a group of people over together, they know each other, they have great communication with each other, they're all like on this journey of not only starting a company together, but moving to another country together. They're probably smarter than the people you can, or higher quality, I should say, than the people you can hire locally, because your relationship with them or whatever else. And so we did that. We hired an entire team from Australia, actually. You know, one co-founder was not from Australia, poor guy. But the rest of us were, and I brought them all over, and that was a great thing. Like, we really were so much closer as a result of having that shared history together, and that made a difference when times weren't so good. So that was another thing, like, if you can sort of bring people from one place with a shared history, it'll help you get through things that you're not predicting. And finally, I guess the simplest advice is always the best. So when you start a company, there'll be a lot of people around you giving advice. You'll give some of those people shares. They'll be called advisors, and they'll feel like they have to prove their value by giving you lots of advice. Really, the best advice we ever got throughout the entire company's life was one sentence advice from one person. It was Peter Thiel, who was a board member and main investor. And, you know, he's an incredibly smart person, like top 3 smartest people I've ever met. But when we were getting acquired, there are all sorts of things that are happening when you're getting acquired, and all sorts of different parties involved and different emails flying around and things you have to get exactly right. And his one piece of advice was, don't be desperate. Like, the minute you show any sign of desperation, you're dead. The whole process is dead. And he could have said a million things throughout that process, but he just kept repeating the same message over and over and over again. And when you have a really smart person repeating the same message, and it's very, very straightforward, don't try to like break it down any more than that. Like, just listen to them. And I try to do this as a board member now. You know, I have a rule where I don't say more than one sentence per hour, basically, in a board meeting, which is quite different. Quite different to a lot of other venture capitalist approach on boards. And I try to just pick the one thing to say and repeat it over and over and over again. And I think if you have someone who's thoughtful enough to be restrained enough to do that and has some experience behind them, whatever else, like, listen to them rather than listening to the people that are changing their mind and giving you all sorts of advice all the time. You know, it sounds dumb, but it's a good heuristic for figuring out which advice to accept.
Interesting.